Hello everybody, welcome back to From Rhythm to Algorithm. We continue on with our derivation, what is sensorality? So, my rights continue to be violated. Article 1, Section 8, Clause 8 of the United States Constitution, along with the Fifth Amendment. And additionally, now that we've just proven what free speech is, the First Amendment, the ability to speak against consensus, as well as the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, is violated so profoundly, so directly, in the clear and present value of the property developed right here on this channel. These derivation videos demonstrates the structure of language to the point where every bit of scientific progress in private and public industry is reliant on analysis. And so, I have not been paid just compensation for private property clearly used in public pursuant to the Fifth Amendment, and in reality, all major laws and statutes everywhere are being violated in such a profound fashion that there is a lien on all American industry. There is a lien on all academia. It is all fraudulent. There's an active cease and desist to stop any sort of public discussion or any sort of attempt at progress from an educational standpoint, from a research standpoint, worldwide. Like I said, the clear and present value that is sitting right here on this channel speaks for itself, and it demonstrates the form and structure completely and comprehensively of all of language. I've been treated like shit. I've been profoundly and extensively abused my entire life, and all I want is my money. And so I continue to all those hardworking Americans before we get to our derivation steps. Again, Scheffler just had another great round. And you had nice, you guys worked hard. You know, time to kick your feet up, and again, just enjoy the weekend. We're gonna keep working over here. But again, the outstanding legal, financial, direct liability for all American industry far surpasses anything you will ever be able to pay back. I continue to ask for a little bit of money to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work, and to my estate. Every charge, every case, every lawsuit, every penny, no leniency, no exceptions, no nothing. Again, let's give a shout out to Brian Keating and Sean Ryan. Again, you are being sued, you are being criminally prosecuted in every bit of fraud, every bit of racketeering and conspiracy that is publicly published. You guys just literally commit crimes and videotape yourself saying, hey, look at me, I'm committing fraud, racketeering, conspiracy. Let's call it a podcast. You guys are all going to prison. With that being said, moving through our derivation, we had a bunch of big conceptual progress last time, tidying up some linguistics. Not anything huge conceptually, but as always, a lot of progress. So we move along. What is a censor? What is sensorality? What is refutation to reputation? Sensorality refutes reputation. What is reputation to repetition? Emphasizing the iteration of the vowels. What is friendship to censorship? Sensorality filters friendship. Does proper prosper? Sensorality is prosperity. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is prosperity to obesity? Again, historically, we have evidence. We like to maybe try to be thin and fit these days, maybe. But historically, there's a lot of, if you have luxury, being obese is a luxury. Moving along. Sensorality is prosperality. Just generalizing prosper directly. Sensorality is sporadicality. Is havoc sporadic, right? Dissemination is sporadic, right? We had dispense versus dispensing versus distributing. We had one of those, again, I'm blanking on it right now, but just order versus disorder. Dispensing versus, why can't I think of it? Dispersing. There it is. Dispensing versus dispersing. Dispersion is sporadic. Do forays proliferate? This was directly pulled off of, again, proliferate with an O, and kind of like, what is this step? But it directly produces the syllability of a foray, which is one of these like slang words where it's like, what is this word in English? I think as any native English speaker would see, it's like, people say it, but it does not strike me in any way as like an English word. And I certainly don't have like a rigorous definition of what a foray is conceptually. But what is a foray to a parlay? Emphasizing, again, we have this like English spelling of a French verb, and it kind of means like a segmented bet, or like a sequential betting sequence. Again, just emphasizing it, language is directly literal, just emphasizing any insight. Again, that's relevant to analysis. At no point do I really think etymology is that relevant or relevant at all to analysis. Is life a foray? Is life a parlay? What is placement to complacency? Emphasizing place. Sensorality is a placement predicament. Is contradiction a predicament? What is a predicament to a predicate? Is a verb a predicate? Again, another one of these words you're introduced to early on in language class, literature and arts, or I kind of forget what we even called like language study in like elementary school. Language and arts, I think. But it's a predicate. What is a predicate? I think a predicate's a verb, but what is a predicament to a predicate? Sensorality is predicality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is predictable. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is diction predictable? Direct iteration. What is diction to action? What is predictability? Again, emphasizing the seeming base or the conceptualization that comes along with prediction. Is diction predictable? Why is diction the base of predictability? What is prediction to expectation? What is addition to prediction? Is addition predictive? Is diction additive? Are additives addictive? Direct iteration, almost certainly we've hit that one before. Is diction addictive? I know, the gift of gab, I love to talk, whatever. Sensorality is prediction addiction. Natural definition, direct iteration. Orality dictates. Is diction oral? Emphasizing when we say the word diction, are we specifically talking about orality, speaking? Or could writing also be diction? What is diction to writing? Sensorality, just kind of went backwards a little bit. Dictionality is orality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is the dichotomy of diction. What is dichotomy to contradiction? What is theme to momentum? Sensorality is momentum theme. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is foundation fundamental? What is production to prediction? Sensorality is prediction production. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is maturity to morality? Is maturity memorable? Is marble memorable? Direct iteration. Is memory normal? I think we had a sensorality as normal memory last time. Again, I don't look at literally anything I do previously. Definitions finish. Direct iteration. What defines sensorality? Right, what defines you? What's your defining characteristic? What's the defining characteristic? What's the uniqueness of sensorality? What is definability to probability? What is probability to probing? What directly, again, natural definition of probability, the ability to probe, the ability to probe. But again, this assignment worth pointing out and emphasizing probability. Sometimes I'll even say like mathematics and statistics, or mathematics and probability. So there's even some kind of like natural differentiation within research, academia, educational progress of statistics and math, of math and probability, but emphasizing the linguistic construction. Probability is this general form, and then prob is not a definable or irreducible syllable with meaning. So what is probability? What is that direct natural definition? And then it's clearly assigned to a major section of ontology, statistics, math, right in there, and a section of analysis. Sensorality probes. Sensorality is probabilisticality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is probability ballistic? Is havoc ballistic? I went ballistic. I went crazy. Sensorality is able. Sensorality is ableistic. Sensorality is ableisticality. Natural definition, direct iteration. What is a mode to a probe? Sensorality is mean mode. Natural definition, direct iteration. I have to get in the zone. It's go mode, whatever. Again, emphasizing mean, median, and mode, not that. It's just you typically get presented for mathematical ontology, but just the conceptual meaning of the words. Sensorality is mean mode. What does mode mean? What does most mean? Is mode moist? What is liability to definability? So now we have a direct conceptual substitution to change our linguistics. What is liability? The ability to lie. What is a lie? A lie is a fabrication. Liability is the ability to fabricate. Natural definition, direct iteration. That was a good chunk of conceptual progress. Generalizing. Sensorality is fabricality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is a fabric a surface? What is fabricality to topology? Is a medium a fabric? Right? Because conceptually, consensus usage, right? Did we have the ether, right? Michelson and Morley. What is the medium in which things move through? What is the fabric of reality? Right? That natural usage. Sensorality is how memorality works. Conceptually, sensorality are undefined variable based on sensor. We'll get to the orality here in a second. But how memorality, remembering what is right, works. Productivity, producing. Sensorality produces right. Sensorality proposes. Sensorality is proposality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is propositionality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Sensorality is a productive proposal. Is prosperity preposterous? Again, snap back on over to edgy Sean Carroll, great dude over at Hopkins, one of my esteemed colleagues. Professor Carroll, what's your edgy blog called? Oh, The Preposterous Universe. Is prosperity preposterous? Direct iteration. Which again, he has a great blog post. I don't know if it's still up, but he has this, again, we've referenced it several times, but my great colleague Sean Carroll has released an edgy blog post about what would happen if you think you're the next Galileo. Well, professor, what do you do if you can derive the entire structure of language? Then what? Huh? Well, I guess you just throw away that person's life. Who cares? Haha. How was it so preposterous? And obviously, only Dork Brains 3000 use the word preposterous. Sensorality is the right product. Natural definition, direct iteration. So a direct statement of identity this whole time, and this was a big conceptual progress, didn't expand on it much, but this feels, again, we're at the very end of, again, words this entire time are irreducible. We have to get our concepts in the right order, and then the linguistics is trivial. But what is sensorality? Many times we've put up on the screen the different syllables, but sensorality is sense or ality. Right? A lot of times we'll separate ality into 3 syllables, but it's very clearly, again, that consolidation is directly empirical. If you generalize a concept in natural conversation, you say ality, functionality, operationality, mathematicality, just any word that you can think of. And so we're keeping those 3 syllables now as one unit. Right? We said we have these irreducible sounds, that elementality of the physical things moving. All of our syllability, our representation of those sounds with letters is bounded by that elementality. You can see that in symmetry of any sort of letter presentation. But if you take those irreducible elements, those syllables, and put them in the right order, you get irreducible words. Ality is still not a word, but it's in this 3 syllables combined as efficiently, empirically used. So now it's one unit. But now, sensorality is sense or ality, emphasizing that there's no orality. A lot of this conceptualization we've been carrying is sensorality is, again, based on orality or contains orality. Then we kind of progress through this, what is containment? Does it have to be surrounded by other letters completely? And now, again, we just have, sensorality is not a word, but or is. And so we just have to find this linguistic structure in which we can show this fundamental differentiation, the structure of all of language with a specific solution, sensorality, sensorality. Direct statement of identity. Sensorality is refundability. What is refundability to liability? Deniability is refusability. Sensorality refuses a refund. Sensorality is refusality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Is a fuse a sensor? Have that one spelled with an S. Sensorality infuses, right? Incense infuses. What is infusion to confusion? Is contradiction confusing? What is confusion to confession? What is pressure to confession? Right? Lies are confessed. Consensus usage, fess up, tell the truth. Right? Fess comes from confess. Sensorality is a confession session. We have the dog barking again. We continue on. Closure is containment. Right? There are no closed systems. So do we really have containment? Emphasizing the linguistic representation. What is closure to censure? Is censure censorship? Is censure censorship? So now you can see the two spellings on the screen. We're going to try to power through. Is sensation closed? We'll be right back. Nope, we'll just cut this out. There'll be a little edit. But we're back. We didn't cut the camera. Just giving the dog a little time to bark. But is sensation closed? Directly progressing through our word forms again. Censorship with a C contains censor with an S. So we have that self-containment. We just need the right conceptual motivation to say this word goes here or this word goes here. Because again, any vocabulary word you learn is not complicated. We're just proving all of the underlying logic, which includes all of the stuff in math and physics people have never seen before, but it's really just learning a vocab word. But censorship with a C contains censor with an S. And so we just need the right conceptual motivation. It feels like all of the pieces, again, are right there. Moving along. What is sensitivity to elasticity? What is elasticity to empiricality? Is natural empirical? Is odor empirical? Is evidence empirical? Sensation is phenomenal. Sensorality is phenomenality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Phenomenality is sensationality. Natural definition, direct iteration. Phoneticality is phenomenal. Phenomenality is special. Right? What is a phenomenon? Are phenomenons empirical? Is nomenclature phenomenal? Direct iteration. Sensorality sniffs. What is smelling to sniffing? What is sniffing to sifting? Sensorality wreaks havoc, spelled like reek, like smelling, like odor, and then going to the way that phrase is typically spelled, sensorality wreaks havoc. Sensorality is reeking, W-R-E-A-K-I-N-G. Natural definition, direct iteration, sensorality wrecks. So again, this morning's episode was tremendous conceptual, again, but again, I've done all of this derivation before. Just working through our definition, emphasizing my life quality is 0. The profundity of property and life that has been taken from me each subsequent day that goes by is just like, why can't anybody give me a little bit of money to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work? My days continue to tick by. Again, everyone continues to commit such a profundity of crime, literally no one cares. There's nothing to say. Again, you can't stop the dissemination of the structure of logic and language when it's how people already function already today for any meaningful time on the grand scheme of life. But for my given lifetime, I don't expect anything to change because of how profound of a moral failure and how profound what the adults in the world are supposed to be. Obviously, I'm an adult now, but when I was a kid and the entire time and still right now, it's just like I'm the only adult in the room ever. All American industry is fraudulent. All academia worldwide is fraudulent. All scientific research is fraudulent. All private industry is directly stealing from me. It's just a fact, and just nobody cares. But again, your debt and your liability is not going anywhere. You're going to pay me every penny. Again, fundamental science is going to outlast, again, all private industry currently alive or around right now today, indefinitely into the future. I mean, that's apparent and undeniable. But regardless, that is what I have for right now. My rights continue to be violated, and I continue to beg for a little bit of money to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work. I have no expectation my life will ever change to my estate. Don't let any single person doing this to me. Again, I want people to, their kids to be like, why can't I go to a museum? Why can't I go to a concert? Why can't I go to a science place? It's all my property. You're already criminally trespassed. Again, I don't want any American looking at my work right now today. Clearly, this is such a global apparatus to steal all of my shit. Then again, just don't let the Americans look at anything ever. Again, I'll never get out of this world. Like, there is no chance I will ever live a day of my life. I continue to document it as best as I can. I cannot speak freely about the crimes being committed against me without threat of, again, my only publication channel to kind of be heard, or at least feel like my work is getting out there, to get taken down. And so, again, I continue to be the victim of every major crime they could literally possibly articulate. I'm not going to sit here and restate them all. That is what I have for right now. I continue to beg for a little bit of mercy. No one cares. Thank you for watching. See you on the next one.